In the heart of a bustling city, hidden among the towering skyscrapers and neon lights, there existed an old, mysterious bookstore. It was a place most people had never heard of, tucked away in an alley so narrow that even the most curious passerby could easily miss it. The shop's name was Whispers of Time, and its owner, an enigmatic man named Arthur, was just as elusive as the store itself. Arthur had a reputation, one that was built on whispers, rumors, and a strange allure. He was a man of few words, with piercing gray eyes that seemed to see right through people. His hands were always stained with ink, his fingers long and delicate, as if he had spent an eternity turning the pages of ancient tomes. But despite his age, there was a youthful energy in his step, a glint of something darker beneath the surface. One rainy evening, a young woman named Evelyn entered the bookstore, drawn in by an unexplainable force. Evelyn was a journalist, ambitious and determined to uncover the truth about everything. She had heard about Arthur and his mysterious store from a fellow journalist, who claimed to have stumbled upon a story that could change the world, a story that Arthur was guarding. Intrigued by the idea of discovering a hidden truth, Evelyn made her way to the bookstore. As she stepped inside, the scent of aged paper and leather filled her nostrils. The air was thick with history, and the walls seemed to close in around her, creating an atmosphere both comforting and unnerving. She wandered through the aisles, her fingers grazing the spines of books that seemed to whisper secrets to her. "Looking for something in particular?" a voice asked from behind her. Evelyn turned around to find Arthur standing just a few feet away, his expression unreadable. His gray eyes studied her carefully, as if weighing her every thought. I'm just browsing," Evelyn replied, her voice steady despite the unease settling in her chest. Arthur nodded slowly, then gestured for her to follow him. Without a word, he led her to a small, dimly lit corner of the shop where a collection of old, worn books sat in dusty piles. At the center of the collection was an ancient-looking book, its cover cracked and faded with time. It was bound in dark leather, and its title was barely legible, The Chronicles of Lost Souls. "This is what you're looking for," Arthur said quietly, his voice barely above a whisper. Evelyn hesitated, a chill running down her spine. She had heard rumors of a book like this, one that contained secrets so dangerous that anyone who sought its knowledge would be cursed forever. But her curiosity overpowered her fear, and she reached out to take the book from its resting place. The moment her fingers touched the cover, the ground seemed to tremble beneath her feet. The lights in the store flickered, casting long shadows across the walls. Evelyn pulled her hand back, startled, but Arthur's eyes never left her face. "Be careful," he warned, his voice low and grave. "The book chooses its reader, and once you open it, there's no turning back." Evelyn felt a strange sense of urgency, as if time itself was pushing her forward. She opened the book, and as the pages turned, the air grew colder, the room darker. The words on the pages were written in an ancient script, one she couldn't understand. But the more she read, the more the letters seemed to come alive, shifting and rearranging themselves in her mind. It was as if the book was speaking directly to her, whispering things she couldn't quite grasp. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through her head, and the world around her spun violently. She collapsed to the floor, clutching her temples as the book slipped from her hands. The moment it hit the ground, everything went silent. When Evelyn opened her eyes, she was no longer in the bookstore. Instead, she found herself in a dark, desolate landscape. The sky was a deep shade of purple, swirling with storm clouds. The ground beneath her feet was cracked and barren, and in the distance, she could make out the silhouette of a massive castle, its towers reaching toward the heavens. Panic surged through her as she realized that she was no longer in the world she knew. She tried to scream, but no sound came from her lips. She ran toward the castle, desperate for answers, but with every step, the distance between her and the castle seemed to grow. As she stumbled through the barren land, she saw figures moving in the shadows, shadowy figures that seemed to watch her every move, their eyes glowing with a strange, otherworldly light. Evelyn's heart pounded in her chest, but she couldn't stop. Something was pulling her forward, guiding her toward the castle. When she finally reached the gates, they creaked open on their own, as if they had been waiting for her. She stepped inside, her breath catching in her throat as she entered the dark, Gothic halls. The walls were lined with ancient tapestries, each depicting scenes of battles, betrayal, and tragedy. At the end of the hall, she saw a figure standing in the shadows, a tall man, his face obscured by a hood. "Who are you?" Evelyn demanded, her voice trembling. The figure stepped forward, and for the first time, Evelyn saw his face. It was Arthur, but he was different, darker, older, and more menacing. His gray eyes gleamed with an unnatural light, and a cold smile spread across his lips. "I am the keeper of the book," he said, his voice echoing through the hall. "And now, you are mine." Evelyn took a step back, her mind racing. "What is this place? What have you done to me?" Arthur chuckled, his laugh sending chills down her spine. "This is the realm of the lost souls. Those who seek the truth are brought here, but only a few are chosen to return. You, Evelyn, have crossed the threshold. You are bound to this place now." "No!" Evelyn screamed, panic rising in her chest. "I won't stay here." "You have no choice," Arthur said, his voice cold and final. "The book has claimed you, and now you will learn the truth of your past, of who you truly are." With a sudden movement, Arthur stepped toward her, his hand reaching out to touch her forehead. The moment his fingers made contact, a vision flashed before Evelyn's eyes. She saw herself, her true self, not the journalist who had come searching for a story, but a woman from a past life, a woman who had once lived in this very realm. She saw her own death, betrayed by those she had trusted, her soul bound to the book for all eternity. Arthur was not just the keeper of the book. He was the one who had trapped her soul here, the one who had cursed her to relive this nightmare forever. Evelyn's heart sank as the realization hit her. She wasn't just a seeker of truth, she was part of the truth. She was a lost soul, destined to remain in this dark realm unless she could find a way to break the curse. With all the strength she could muster, Evelyn pushed Arthur away, running through the halls of the castle, searching for an escape. But the shadows were closing in, and the weight of her past life was dragging her down. She had to find the answers. She had to break the cycle. But in a place where time had no meaning, would she ever escape the shadow of her past?